Hey guys, welcome to a brand new video on my channel, Megz Movies. If you are new to this channel, this is basically where I talk to you guys about my passion for movies. This goes from collections, hauls, reviews, and to today's video, so let's get into it. Okay, so I am bringing back my Megz Movies weekly watches. So yes, I used to do the series on and off over the past probably like year or two. But I want to finally get back into it, especially since at this moment in time I'm trying to catch up on some 2024 movies and I'm working on some rankings and things like that. So if you are new to this channel and you haven't seen this series before, I just basically talk about the movies I've watched in the past week. This is from the last Friday till yesterday, which would have been Thursday. So I just want to start off by saying if you want to see what I have been watching and you want to keep up to date throughout the week, go and follow my Letterboxd. I've got some rankings on there that I'm currently working on that you could see some hints of. But also you can see other things on there, like my full reviews for these films and things like that. So I have my Letterboxd in front of me because I like to do this in order. So, and plus some of these, in fact, there's 1, 2, 3 that I saw in the cinema and 2 that I watched on streaming. The rest I have seen on physical, so I do have them here to show you, but the rest will be posters here. So let's get into it. So last Friday, I did not watch anything last Friday. I was very busy that day, but I then got to work on the Saturday. So from Saturday till Thursday, this is what I watched. So the first movie I watched was Toy Story 2. Now this is because I'm currently not only working on a Pixar ranking, but I'm also going to do a Pixar sequels ranking, obviously because of Inside Out 2. So, of course, I decided to watch all the sequels first. So, Toy Story 2, this is one I grew up with. In fact, this was the very first sequel we ever got from Pixar, basically. And this is a really enjoyable film. It's got a lot of serious moments in it, which I do enjoy. But there's also some laugh-out-loud moments in this. I love the new characters of Jessie and Bullseye. I think they're amazing. But overall, this film does get me emotional all the time, especially during that scene where Jessie recalls her owner, who basically is like Andy, and how she ended up where she was. So that always makes me emotional, especially with the song, When Somebody Loved Me. That is just such a sad song. But overall, this is a really good sequel. Pixar does do some really good sequels. This is definitely top end of it. Then I watched Toy Story 3, which would have been the ending I think that we should have gotten for Toy Story. Like, the way they ended this film, emotionally, in a good way, I think if they'd just done this one, I would have been happy. It would have been the perfect trilogy, you know? None of the films are bad in the Toy Story films. I do enjoy Toy Story 4. I'll get to that one in next week's Weekly Watches because I still haven't got around to watching that one yet. But I feel like with how they did things in this one, I think it would have been a perfect ending. I love the fact that we get to see how the toys cope with Andy now going to college. And this is what I mean by this: the Disney Pixar sequels are good because with the second and third one, they dealt with different things that are going on throughout the Andy's life, basically. And we get to see how the toys cope with that. And I mean, yet again, Woody and Buzz are on a separate adventure and trying to get to each other and everything else. But it is fun. Lotso, don't know why, but I like him. He's fun, entertaining. But I'd say overall, this would have been a perfect ending to the series. So don't get me wrong, like I said, I enjoy the fourth one, but I feel like if they ended it this one, it would have been a perfect ending. Now this it's one of my least favourite Pixar sequels, if I'm going to be completely honest, and that is Cars 2. Yes. I'm going to be honest here, I'm not a massive fan of the Cars franchise. This is the only franchise, I think, in the Pixar series that I do not like. I don't know why, I just struggle to get into them. And this one, for me, I really struggled to get into. Don't get me wrong, I love the character of Mater, but I do feel like he's not really meant to have a sequel all of his own. Plus also the whole spy side of things, it feels, I mean, I get why they did that because obviously cars and spy movies sort of like go hand in hand. But for me, I feel like it just didn't fit in with the Cars universe having a spy aspect going on. So unfortunately, this is one of my least favourite of the Pixar sequels, and probably one of my least favourite Pixar films, because I very rarely return to this. It probably wouldn't be until I do another ranking next year for the next Pixar film that I watch this again. Okay, and then the next one I watch, you'll see that the first lot is all Pixar, and then we start getting a range of films. And that is Monsters University. I actually really enjoy this. I like the fact we got a prequel to how Mike and Sully met and how they were in college, and I like how we're expanding on the Monster Universe in the fact of we've gone to university, we get to see what they do as education and things like that. I love the Omega Beta Uzma Kappa. I had to think of what they were. I like them in the sense of they're adorable. I think they're fun characters. But what I will say is I really hope we get a sequel to Monsters, Inc. Especially with how they ended it in the first one, with the hint of Sully going to see Boo. I would love to see a proper sequel. I know we've got Monsters at Work, which is kind of a sequel in the sense we're getting to see how things are after Monsters, Inc. But for a prequel film, this is actually pretty enjoyable, and I love the fact that they hint at some other things in this, like the whole Randall thing. I love how they showed that, and say some other characters made cameos. So honestly, not a bad film, and I would seriously recommend people to watch it. And like I said, I really hope that we get a proper sequel to Monsters, Inc. someday. Okay, so this is my first cinema trip of the week. I actually went 3 times in 1 week because I had 3 days off and I took advantage. So, because I know for a fact I'm busy the following week, so I might not get to the cinema as much next week, maybe not even at all. But I got 3 cinema trips in. And the first one I did was Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Now, there is a full review on my channel, so go and check that out if you want to see my full thoughts. But I rewatched this for a second time, just the simple fact of, I'm going to be completely honest, I had a hair appointment in town. This was a film that was going to finish roughly just about in time for me to get to my haircut. So I just went, sod it, I'll watch it again. And I will say it grew on me a little bit more the second time watching it. So I do feel like this is a film that will grow on me every time I watch it. It's not a terrible film, but for me it's just, after Caesar, I'm struggling to get into the character of Noah. I do like the character. I do hope that maybe by the next film, I'll enjoy his character. So, but for now, this was an okay 4th movie in a new set of trilogies. Then the next one I watched was for subscriber mail, and that is The Crow. This was a first time watch for me. I'm surprised at how much I enjoyed this. Yet again, I did do a subscriber mail review for this, so go check this out. Thank you again, Toby, for sending me this. I'm so glad I have this in my collection. And I will be watching this again at some point because this is fun. You know what? I might even add it to maybe my Halloween watch list, like a non-horror movie kind of thing, because it is pretty dark and gritty. So maybe it might be one of those films that I put in the thing. And I'll most probably watch this again when it comes to the Crow remake coming out, because I'll do an original versus remake of that. But yeah, so overall, really good film. But like I said, full review on my channel. And then we go back to Pixar and my last physical media watch, and that is Finding Dory. I had already watched this, not last week, but the week before. So this time I just put it on in the background whilst I was doing some work for my YouTube channel. I like how this is a sequel, and Dory is one of those characters that does, I think she does well for a sequel, not like Meta from Cars. I like how we got to learn a bit more of Dory's backstory and things like that. But it's just, I don't know, with this one, I do enjoy it, but I just struggle to, what's the word I'm looking for? Compared to Finding Nemo, I feel like this has emotion to it, but I feel like Nemo had more emotional to it, if you catch my drift. Also, I love the sea lions in this when they're talking to Gerald and trying to get Gerald off the rock, when they're going like, off, 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 you know. That always makes me laugh, no matter how many times I've watched that scene, always makes me laugh. And honestly, I prefer them over the seagulls that go, mine, Yeah, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm just going to say that. But no, this is a good sequel, but not top tier sequel, if I'm going to be completely honest. Okay, and then the rest I either watched in the cinema or I watched on streaming. And the next movie I watched was Bad Boys Ride or Die. I watched that again, and this time it was with my dad, because I spent the day with my dad, had a late Father's Day lunch, and then he said about going to the cinema, and this was one of the films that I suggested to him, and because he enjoys the Bad Boys films, so I thought, why not? He enjoyed it himself, and I'm glad he did. Yeah, again, I have done a full review on this, so if you want to go and check that out, it is on my channel. But I will say this, I enjoyed it a bit more the second time around. I did enjoy it quite a bit the first time, but I feel like I enjoyed it a bit more the second time around. So my score has changed for it, so you'll see in my original review for it, I think it was like last week I did it, or the week before, I can't remember. I had a bit of a lower score for it. It's gone up a little bit, not a lot, it's gone up a little bit, but I did enjoy it, and I'm glad my dad enjoyed it as well. Okay, and then the next one I watched was the original Planet of the Apes, because I did an original versus remake, so if you want to see my full thoughts on that, then go and check it out down below. I'll put the original versus remake series in the link in the description down below, or I'll put it at the end with the title card thing. But Planet of the Apes, the original, I will say this, it has grown on me a little bit more. It might be one of those films that the more I watch it, the more it grows on me, so overall, a good original film. Then I went to go and see Inside Out 2. Now, this is also another first time watch. I believe there's only 2 this week. Yeah, The Crow and Inside Out 2 are my first time watches. Of course, given the opportunity to go and see Inside Out 2, I was going to take it, and this was my last cinema trip before going back to work. And I enjoyed it. It was enjoyable. I have done a full review for it, so like I said, yet again, go check that out. But what I will say is, I think because I'm more emotionally attached to the first one than I am this one, I just missed that emotion a bit. But I do like how they have developed these films, and I do look forward to seeing if they do a third one, because I would like to see how they would cope with adult Riley. That'd be a fun little concept, I think. And then to finish it off, I watched the remake of Planet of the Apes. This is the Tim Burton one. I am working on a Tim Burton ranking in preparation for Beetlejuice. I'm not massively hyped for the film, if I'm going to be completely honest, but I'm still going to watch it nonetheless. But yeah, so this I will give a brief thing on, is that, like I said in my original versus remake video, I grew up with this film. This was my first movie into the Planet of the Apes franchise, so my opinions might be slightly different than most. But at the end of the day, I will say I enjoyed both films. And I'll also say that my feelings have changed a little bit on the remake of Planet of the Apes, because I was a little bit I really enjoyed it when I was younger, but I do feel like now that I've watched it again, because I hadn't watched it for years, but now that I've watched it again, I do kind of feel a little bit less towards it, but that's just me. But if you want to see which one I picked for my original versus remake, then go and check it out down below. But yeah, so that is all the movies that I watched this week. Now, like I said, I am very busy this week. I have only got 2 days off next week, so I am going to try and get to the cinema, because I want to go and see The Bike Riders, because that looks like it could be a very good film, but it is just depending on what day I can go. Also, you'll see more Pixar films, because like I said, I am trying to get this Pixar ranking done. I'm hoping to get my Pixar sequels ranking up by either Sunday or Monday, whichever day I can do. It's because I have literally just got to watch Cars 3, because I fell asleep again watching it at night time. I need to stop watching films when I'm in bed, because I just fall asleep straight away. Then I've got The Incredibles 2 and Toy Story 4. So there's only 3 sequels I've got left to watch. So I'd like to think that you guys could get a Pixar ranking either Sunday or Monday. Haven't decided yet, because it depends on how quick I can get these movies watched. And then my main Pixar ranking will be whenever I've watched the other films, because there's a lot of other films I still need to watch. So like I said, I'm not going to rush these rankings. I'm going to get them done when I can. because I hate rushing things for this channel. It doesn't feel right, doesn't fit well with me, so in the end, that's one of those things. There will be a Planet of the Apes ranking at some point. I also need to decide whether I'm going to do one for the new franchise, one for the old franchise, and then one with all of them together. I'm not really sure. Let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to see that. I also will be doing a Crow ranking, but that will not be until the remake, nearer the time of the remake. But I will try and watch the other Crow films before I watch the remake, depending on when that comes out. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then do give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to this channel, then go ahead, hit that subscribe button and also notification bell down below to be notified when I post. And also leave me your comments and thoughts on the movies that I watched this week, to any that you'd recommend me to watch. Let me know in the comments down below. See you guys next time.